Welcome back to Twin Cities Live at 4. My guest co-host today is Paul McGuire-Grimes. We all know that Paul loves movies. He has a website and everything under the sun called Paul's Trip to the Movies, and then he also has this. This is his collection. Last year, photographer Drew Shingen went to Paul's house to show us his impressive DVD collection, which consists of over 1,500 movies and TV shows. Every celebrity from Tom Hanks to anyone you can name has been obsessed with Paul's movie collection. So Paul,
yes,
you love movies more than anyone I know.
Thank you.
And
badge of honor.
It really is. And so Drew issued a challenge to you. He said, I want you to choose your 3 favorite movies of all time. And I'm sure you broke out in a cold sweat.
I was like, oh.
What do I do?
Right.
How do I choose amongst my children here? So you're going to go through your top 3, and I want you to think about your top 3 as well. And we're going to start by with a movie that came out in 1997.
Okay, I get a lot of flack for loving this movie, but I'm just full force. I'm a massive fan of Titanic.
Oh,
yes.
my
The epic from James Cameron, from My Heart Will Go On from 1997. I remember specifically the summer of 97, hearing about this movie Titanic. James Cameron was working on it, and all of a sudden it was massively over budget. They pushed it to a December release. It was thought to be going to be this huge disaster movie, and I remember thinking, I've got to see this movie because I know it's going to be great. Mall of America, opening night. I went with my aunt and uncle, and this is at a time before you could order tickets in advance, before you had to show up and hope you got a ticket.
And wait in line.
Line was out the door, around the 4th floor of Mall of America. I remember it so specifically, and I just fell in love with this epic film. Yes, some people say that the screenplay is cheesy. I don't care. Love the acting. Leo, Kate, phenomenal romance. You got a James Horner score. You know I love film scores. James Horner, and then Celine Dion's song, My Heart Will Go On. That is the infamous 2-disc VHS set that I had a neighbor buy for me when it came out at Best Buy. She had the day off from working, and I was like, I was at school. And
2 VHS tapes in there?
Absolutely.
Do you have a VCR?
Yes, we do, in a TV VCR combo. Absolutely. Who are you kidding? We got a DVD over there. We've got the Blu-ray. And then you'll see this other prized possession.
I'm going to pick this up.
If you can
pick
that other, well, there's that. And then next to it,
it's this
This
one.
other one. So this
Sorry,
became a gag gift for me due to my love of the Titanic. This is Titanic 2.
What's the situation with that?
So, yeah, I mean, it's a piece of garbage. But it's, on the 100th anniversary of the Titanic, they decide to take sail again? I mean, the special effects are so terrible. Like, it looks like someone did it on Photoshop.
Who's in it?
Bruce Davidson, Brooke Burke. I know.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Is she wearing Skechers?
Yeah. What?
She does the Skechers ads for the shoes. Right. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
There you go. Titanic. Okay. I love it. I love it.
Okay, that's very good. You know, every week when you're here, we ask you to rate movies by ticket stubs, and you give it a certain number out of 5 ticket stubs, and you have a literal ticket stub collection.
Vase of ticket stubs I've been collecting since high school. I'm not even sure what the ones on the bottom are. I just add to the top. I have no idea, like, how many are in there.
Do you want these to be buried with you, do you think?
Like, in my casket, if I could just, like, hold it, And with, I go to a lot of press screenings right now, so I don't get a lot of actual ticket stubs anymore. So it's slowly building right now, but there's a couple on there from movies I've seen recently.
You could print them out and fold it up. I don't know.
Sometimes I do that.
Maybe you could do that. Okay, so next up on your list of your top 3 favorite movies is a 1972 classic.
I mean, it's The Godfather.
The Godfather.
I mean, this movie is an absolute masterpiece from Francis Ford Coppola, and even if you're like, I don't do mobster movies, what? Just watch it.
I know, but don't you love The Godfather 2? Like,
oh yeah, I mean, so this was the challenge about coming up today because I was like, well, I love 1 and 2 together, and I actually think that 2 is the better movie.
That's what I think.
Yes, 2 is brilliant.
So good.
And I remember in high school, a lot of my memories go back to high school, but I think I'd seen the first movie, and my friend Jake and I were like, we decided we were going to do a full trilogy binge in one sitting. So
that was before binging was cool.
Exactly. Trendsetters we were. So 9.5 hours in her basement watching all 3. Wow. And like I never get old of watching The Godfather. There's something I always pick up new, from the performances to the cinematography. The behind the scenes of how that movie got made is
so cool.
Fascinating. There's going to be a new Paramount Plus series called The Offer that's going to go into all the behind the scenes of Al Pacino almost getting fired from the movie because they thought he was wrong for it, and Francis had to fight for him. And it was basically like, we're gonna film the Saluzzo scene, which is the one in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't master it, like, he's gonna be out. So he nailed it, and he kept. He's Michael Corleone, and then you see what happens in 2. Oh my God.
That's amazing to think of Al Pacino being fired.
Oh,
That's a really incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, now this one is a really good one. And when I think about pivotal movies from my youth, I'm 100% on the same page with you on this. Your last favorite movie of your top 3?
Is Stand By Me from 1986 from Rob Reiner. It stars River Phoenix, Will Wheaton, Jerry O'Connell, and Corey Feldman as 4 boys who go in search of a dead body in the woods, and in turn learn more about themselves, learn more about the value of friendships. I'm going to cry thinking about this movie.
I know.
It's based on a Stephen King novella called The Body, which many people don't know. It's not scary, but
Right.
just how they come to love each other and themselves. It's so impactful, and I weep thinking about it. A couple years ago, Imagine Theaters does this thing called Secret Movie Nights, where they have someone in the industry come out and be the host. And I've done it twice now. I'm going to do it again coming up. Stay tuned. And I chose Stand By Me as the last one. And the audience doesn't know what movie it is going to be. So they just show up not knowing what movie.
That's fun.
And then it starts, and then you do a Q&A afterwards. So
Okay.
I got to talk about it and give little stats and introduce people to my favorite movie.
I only, when I think of that movie, that is where my fear of standing water and leeches began.
Yeah, there's
was
a
right
great
there.
leech
And so I
scene.
got very nervous about that. And that is probably part of the reason why I don't go in water, fresh water south of the Minnesota-Iowa border, because it doesn't freeze fully. And then I don't know what's in it. And that's that movie. But it is I think young boys' friendship and the complexities of boys' friendship, sometimes I think they're portrayed as not having as much depth as they do. And so I think that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
It's a great movie. Paul, wonderful. He tears up talking about his movies.
do.
That's so much he loves them. Visit Paul's website. It's paulstriptothemovies.com for updates on movies and streaming services. And then you can, of course, listen to Paul on the Colleen and Bradley Show on My Talk 107.1 every Friday, or watch him on his YouTube channel. It's also called Paul's Trip to the Movies. And our movie trip is brought to you by our friends at Muska Lighting. We love them. You can visit one of Muska's showrooms. They're in Roseville or Eden Prairie, and I'm telling you, they will totally make over your home with the most beautiful fixtures. And we've got more TCL coming up next. Thanks to Muska Lighting for sponsoring TCL's movie trip. Replace old and dated fixtures with a new light and change the look and feel of your home. Our mudroom fixture from Muska Lighting is a total showstopper. We get compliments from everyone who walks through the door. Talk to the experts at Muska Lighting in Roseville and Eden Prairie for help finding the perfect light for you.